Please press bell icon to subscribe to my channel Seema Gautam for more videos.
Hello everyone, I'm back with another chapter, another video, and this is related to democratic politics, grade 10th, and chapter name is power sharing. So with this chapter, we resume the tour of democracy. All power does not rest with any one organ of the government. An intelligent sharing of power among legislature, executive, and judiciary is very important to the design of democracy. As I said just now, power sharing means the distribution of power among the organs of the government, such as the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. Power sharing helps in achieving the stability of the political order. In sharing power, might even be shared at distinct levels such as union, state, and local. So it is a good way to ensure the stability of political order and unity of the nations. We start with two stories from Belgium and Sri Lanka. Both these stories are about how democracies handle demands for power sharing. The stories yield some general conclusion about the need for power sharing in democracy. This allows us to discuss various forms of power sharing that will be taken up in the following slides. So, story of Belgium will start from this. Belgium is a small country in Europe with a population over 1 crore, about half the population of Haryana. Of the country's total population, 59% speak the Dutch language, 40% of the people speak French, and the remaining 1% speak German. Look at the map to know the language variation of the Belgium. The minority French-speaking community was rich and powerful, and so they got the benefit of economic development and education. This created tensions between the Dutch-speaking and French-speaking communities during the 1950s and 1960s. So with this slide, you can understand with the map, with the flow chart, the geographical positions of Belgium and all. So here we will discuss first the accommodation in Belgium. In Belgium, the government handled the community difference very well between 1970 and 1993. Belgian leaders amended their constitution 4 times and came up with a new model to run the government. So the key elements of the Belgian models are, here we are going to discuss about those. The number of Dutch and the French-speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Certain powers of the central government were given to state governments of the 2 regions of the country. Next, there was a separate government for the Brussels in which both the communities had equal representation. There was a provision of community government that was elected by the people belonging to one language. Hence, it was a fairly alternative than the majoritarian policy of Sri Lanka, because here they have kept in mind the culture, education, language, all the issues they have kept in mind before going or reaching to any of the conclusion. Moving ahead, so now let's take the situation of another country, that is Sri Lanka. It is an island nation having a population of 2 crores, about the same as Haryana. Sri Lanka has a diverse population. Haryana is one of the states of India. The major social groups are the Sinhalas speakers, who were approximately 74%, and the Tamil speakers, that were 18%. Among Tamils, there are 2 subgroups, Sri Lankan Tamils and the Indian Tamils. You can see the map below to know the population distribution of the different communities in Sri Lanka, how they were, as I just said now. So with this, you will get the idea of the geographical position, population, and other things like language speaking people over here. Now, ethnic communities of Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. So that means after the independence of India. India got independent in 1947. So the Sinhala community was in the majority. So they formed the government. They also followed preferential policies that favored Sinhalas, applicants for universities positions, and the government jobs. These measures taken by the government gradually increased the feeling of alienations among the Sri Lankan Tamils. Sri Lankan Tamils felt that the constitution and the government policies denied them equal political rights, discriminated against them in getting jobs and other opportunities, and ignored their interests. Due to this, the relationships between the Sinhalas and the Tamil communities become very poor. Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties and struggled for the recognition of Tamil as an official language, for regional autonomy, and for equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. But the demand was repeatedly denied by the government. So the disturbance between the two communities turned into the widespread conflict and turned into a civil war. As a result, thousands of people from both communities have been killed. Many families were forced to leave the country as refugees, and many more lost their livelihoods. The civil war ended in 2009 and caused a terrible setback to the social, culture, and economic life of the country. So now question comes, what are the different forms of power sharing in modern democracy? So power sharing in the constitution ensures a balance between all the sections of the society. All the states should have some form of power sharing. It's integral for a democracy to increase the chance of opportunity for every individual. It brings political order to a country. So with this we'll move further and discuss the forms of power sharing. In modern democracy, power sharing can take many forms as mentioned below. Power is shared. First, we are going to discuss power is shared among different organs of the government, such as the legislature, executive, and judiciary. This is called the horizontal distribution of power because it allows different organs of the government placed at the same levels to exercise different powers. Such separation ensures that none of the groups can exercise unlimited power. Each organ checks the others. This arrangement is called the system of checks and balances. So here we will discuss now vertical form of sharing. So the three levels are local, state, and the central level. The local level governments govern the village, towns, or district. The state level government governs a particular state of the country. Lastly, the central government manages the affairs that concern the entire country. Power can be shared among government at the different level. A general government for the entire country, and the governments at the provincial or regional levels, which is called the federal. Now we'll move ahead and now we will discuss about the third one, that is a power may also be shared among the different social groups such as the religious and linguistic group, Community government in Belgium is a good example of the arrangement. In some countries, there are the constitutional and the legal arrangements whereby socially weaker sections and the women are represented in the legislatures and administration. Last year, also you have learned about this, where you have discussed about the reserved constituencies and all in assemblies and the parliament of our country. This method is used to give minority communities a fair share in power. The last one we are going to discuss here, that is, in democracy, the citizen must have a freedom to choose among various contenders for the power. In contemporary democracy, this takes the form of competition among the different parties. So we are discussing right now power sharing arrangement can also seen in the way political parties, pressure groups and the movement. So such competition ensure that the power does not remain in one hand. In the long run, power is shared among different political parties that represents different ideologies and social groups. Sometimes this kind of sharing can be direct when two or more parties form an alliances to contest the elections. They also have a share in government power, either through the participation in governmental communities or bringing influences on the decision making process and all. So this we have learned the power sharing. Now we will move ahead and we will just discuss some of the important key terms here related to this chapter. So first one is majoritarian, that it is a belief that the majority community should be able to rule country in whichever way it wants. Next one is community government, a type of government which is elected by people belonging to one language community is called the community government. Prudential, it is involved decisions making based on the prudence or a careful calculation of gains and losses. Checks and balances. In this system, each organs of the government checks the others, which resulted in the balance of power sharing or power among the various institutions. Next is reserved constituencies. In this, the constituencies are reserved in the assemblies and the parliament for minorities in order to give them a fair share in power. So that means in the particular community that is reserved, maybe for the female, maybe one particular community. Last one, that is a coalition government. When all the alliances of two or the more parties gets elected and forms a government, it is known as the coalition government. Last but not the least, I will discuss the horizontal and vertical power. That is very important, and some of the points you will get here if you want to just make the differentiation. So horizontal power, horizontal division of power sharing, when we discuss, that is a share among the different organs of the government like legislative, executive and judiciary. When we talk about the vertical one, it is like a union government, state government and the lower level. Second difference, different organs of the government exercise the power in the vertical. Different levels of government exercise the power of the government. It specifies the concept of checks and balances, whereas in vertical, no specification of the system of checks and balance. Next one, it ensures the concept of expansion of the democracy, whereas in the vertical, it ensures the concept of deepening of the democracy. Next one, examples we are sharing here in horizontal, legislature, executive, judiciary are the examples, and the another one when we discuss the central government, state government and the panchayat raj are the vertical divisions of power sharing examples. Thank you so much. Please like, share and subscribe for my more videos. and shorts. Thank you.